Time on Antiques Roadshow, Vintage Charlotte.
Wow. My goodness.
Can I give you a hug?
Give me a hug.
Can you guess what values went up, down, or stayed the same? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow.
Tonight at 7 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
If you are 60 or over, consider a charitable gift annuity with Arizona PBS. A charitable gift annuity will provide you a steady stream of income during your lifetime and also help ensure that Arizona PBS is available for future generations.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
PBS Online. Share, tweet, watch.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
9 boys.
The sons of loggers, the sons of fishermen.
One shared dream.
There was speculation of whether this was an Olympic team.
For gold.
American crew appears to be in the rear.
For country.
They had to fight and claw and drag that boat.
For each other.
8 hearts beating as one.
The Boys of 36 on American Experience.
They spoil the script.
Tuesday night at 7 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Albertsons and Safeway are proud to support our Arizona veterans and Arizona PBS. Learn more at azpbs.org/veterans.
Ironwood Cancer and Research Centers. Personalized cancer care through medical oncology, radiation, and radiology services, focusing on emotional, physical, and social support. Outsmarting cancer. One patient at a time.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
An in-depth look at the cancer Senator McCain is fighting. What is glioblastoma and what research is being done right here in the Valley to battle the disease?
Plus, well wishes and prayers continue to grow for McCain after his diagnosis. But an old friend talks with Cronkite News about their deeper connection.
Class is in session, but not every student is ready. How communities are working together to make sure these kids are ready for the school year.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Cal Lundmark.
And I'm Blakely McHugh. Thank you for joining us.
The verdict, guilty from Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio. A federal judge ruled today Arpaio is guilty of criminal contempt of court. Patricio Espinoza joins us from the Broadcast Center with reaction to the verdict.
Yesterday, former Sheriff Joe Arpaio was convicted for ignoring a judge's order to stop detaining people without cause. It was part of a racial profiling investigation into the sheriff's office. U.S. District Court Judge Susan Bolton wrote in her conclusion that Arpaio willfully violated court orders that had asked him to stop detaining people without reasonable suspicion a crime was being committed. The majority of these detained were of Hispanic descent. Today, immigration activists in the community met outside the courthouse. Many have been following the case and protesting Arpaio for years.
Sheriff Arpaio has been a symbol of pain and trauma for our communities for many years. To now find out that, a federal judge has found him guilty of criminal contempt is a moment of vindication, and we're pleased that, that justice is finally a little bit closer to us.
In a statement from NCSO, current Sheriff Paul Penzone said today that the verdict is a conclusion to the disservice and distractions caused by former Sheriff Joe Arpaio. We remain steadfast in our efforts to serve the needs of public safety, to improve quality of relations with the community, and to ensure that the men and women of this organization have the utmost respect for the law and the authority for which we are empowered, he said. Arpaio's legal team says he will appeal and will continue to press for a jury trial. He faces up to 6 months in jail and fines. Sentencing is scheduled for October 5th. In the Broadcast Center, Patricio Espinoza, Cronkite News.
After his memorable vote helping kill the GOP healthcare bill, Senator John McCain is back home in Arizona and began his cancer treatment today. The 80-year-old has been diagnosed with a primary glioblastoma, a type of brain tumor that experts say is particularly aggressive. At this time, it is unclear when McCain will return to Washington. And One Valley Institute has been working on cutting-edge glioblastoma research for years. Cronkite News reporter Madison Connor spoke to TGen to see what they are doing to target this aggressive cancer.
TGen has many areas of research, but in the wake of Senator John McCain's diagnosis, one research team stood out, telling me what glioblastoma is and how TGen is helping doctors with treatment practices. TGen's Center for Targeted Treatments for Cancer has one focus: glioblastoma, specifically in targeting genes in real cases that are causing the cancer to be present. And while most doctors call for specific testing on the disease, TGen likes to keep an open mind.
What's different about TGen is that we actually don't start with the answer in mind, is it this or this? We sequence the entire genome of the disease from the patient, which is an enormous amount of information.
They then work side by side with physicians to locate the specific change in the genome,
so that they can understand for each individual patient the genes that drive that patient's tumor and try to match them with the most likely effective drug.
This research is called precision medicine and tailors to the specific need of the patient. But unfortunately, unlike other organs in the body, the brain has a system that creates a problem when trying to administer the medicine to the damaged gene.
And the brain has this protection. It's called the blood-brain barrier that makes treating brain tumors very, very challenging.
But that challenge does not stop the road to more research. In fact, one intern looks forward to overcoming that challenge.
The coolest part about that, though, is that it's really exciting because it keeps us on our toes and it gives us a challenge that we can constantly keep working to overcome.
Now, the research of precision medicine is happening across the world due to collaborative efforts thanks to TGen, but only in clinical trials. Madison Connor, Cronkite News.
Cancer isn't the first battle Senator McCain has faced. He spent 5 years as a prisoner of war after his plane was shot down by North Vietnamese troops in 1967. It was as a POW that McCain met John Furr, a fellow airman who was also shot down and held as a POW, starting a friendship that continues today. Cronkite News reporter Noelle Lilly sat down with Furr, who's wishing for a quick recovery for his old friend. She brings us the story from our Washington bureau.
Colonel John Furr says it may have been being prisoners of war that brought the two men together, but he says it was their shared optimism and faith that kept them together.
That was John McCain. That's the one I knew from the very beginning.
When the news broke this month that Arizona Senator John McCain was diagnosed with brain cancer, well wishes and prayers for the senator came from far and wide. One man, however, says he hasn't stopped praying and doesn't intend to.
I made a commitment I was going to devote every day at my Mass to praying for John's complete recovery. And I still do. I'm going to stick by it. I'm going to stick by it.
John Furr is a longtime friend of Arizona Senator John McCain, but the circumstances of their friendship began at the How Lo prison camp in North Vietnam.
I had heard John McCain's name mentioned to me as a result of the tapping code and communicating across the wall with other POWs. And I became fascinated by hoping someday to meet him and to talk about our common experience.
Before the world knew McCain as a senator, a war hero, a maverick, or presidential candidate, to his friends, he was always something special.
And here he is with a smile on his face, his release. Here's our top-ranking guy right here.
It was a time that Furr says changed his life forever.
God says, hold everything, Furr. I've got something I want you to do first before you finish your tour over in Southeast Asia. And that was getting shot down. It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Throughout their time together as cellmates, Furr says McCain left him with something he never forgot.
This cause greater than your own self-interest, and then leading people to do the right thing.
When the war ended, Fur and McCain were both released, received awards and honors for their service, and continued their friendship to this day.
Made the circuit all over the country, and that's her crying.
My boy is back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She was. And this is another shot of the inside of the airplane, and everybody's cheering.
Now McCain is facing a new battle, but it's one that Fur thinks he can still overcome.
And I really believe that John is committed himself to overcoming this disease. He's my friend, and I'm going to devote a good portion of my prayer life to his recovery.
Fur says he still keeps in touch with John McCain, sometimes stopping by the senator's Capitol Hill office, and other times when McCain joins Fur and other Vietnam vets for lunch in the D.C. area, at a Vietnamese restaurant, of course. Live in Washington, Noelle Lilly, Cronkite News.
But there are times when you have to stand up and say, I'm sorry, this is wrong. There are truths that are self-evident. And you've got to stand up and call, whether it's the White House or other elected officials, to task when they're not doing what they should.
That was Senator Jeff Flake on Face the Nation, issuing a call to action for his colleagues in Congress. For more from Flake, including a look at his new book, stay tuned to Arizona PBS for a sit-down with the senator tonight at 5:30 and again at 10.
Retired Marine Corps General John Kelly is taking on a new position today as President Trump's second chief of staff.
I predict that General Kelly will go down in terms of the position of chief of staff, one of the great ever, and we're going to have a good time, but much more importantly, we're going to work hard, and we're going to make America great again.
Kelly was previously Trump's Homeland Security Secretary, but was appointed only 6 months later to replace Reince Priebus. Senator McCain took to Twitter offering support for Kelly during the transition. It's back to school time. Some districts head back as early as this week. Cronkite News reporter Kevin Cusack tells us about an event that's helping students start school off in style.
Starting a new school year can be both exciting and stressful time, but those that attended the 5th annual Tools for School event got everything from backpacks to haircuts to start the year off right.
And that takes a big relief off the parents, knowing that they are financially helped and the kids are excited for school.
7,000 students descended on the Ray and Joan Kroc Salvation Army Community Center Saturday. Different rooms were set up, offering haircuts, school supplies, and backpacks.
We have a lot of great sponsors who help donate and supply the backpacks, offer the pens, pencils, things like that. We had different vendors come out to support the young people, let them know there's opportunities in schools or different type of funding if they want to go to college. Also, we had police department, we had city officials, we had the mayor. We had different type of people come in who support this activity.
Other organizations who participated in the event were Cox Communications and Primavera Online High School, but the day was all about the students.
My favorite part about this event was simply seeing the kids laughing and running to show off their backpacks to their siblings or to their parents. Like, look, I got a pink one and this one has stars on it. And it was really awesome to see that all this work that we put into this event is paid off.
To show my support for all the kids who need backpacks and are a little less fortunate than we are to have backpacks and have school materials that they need. So I'm really excited to be here.
And it means more than just paper and pencils.
So I want people to understand that we're behind our children. Okay, it's just not an event to say, hey, we have a backpack drive. We want you to know we're behind you, that it's successful, and we want to give you the tools for success and look for the community and the community partners to help push you along the way.
The organizers say the event would not have been possible without the help of volunteers and organizations. In the broadcast center, Kevin Cusack, Cronkite News.
And Cal, triple-digit temperatures are nothing new to Arizona.
That's right, Blakely, and this heat is often unbearable for some residents. Coming up on Cronkite News, how this summer weather is becoming more life-threatening in the valley.
And the ASU basketball team has a busy schedule ahead of them, where this team is heading before they hit the home court this season.
Finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Now all my dreams are coming true. Yeah, I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now. Right about now.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Keeping one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you believe it?
After two boys tragically died from being left in a hot car this weekend, advocates are calling for a way to prevent this from happening again.
This weekend would have marked the 89th day into our summer vehicular heat stroke campaign, a no loss of life or children or pets. Sadly, on Friday and again on Saturday, we suffered the tragic deaths of two young lives, each one of them left in a hot vehicle.
According to kidsincars.org, on average, 37 children in the U.S. die in hot cars every year. There have been 29 heat stroke deaths of children this year. Arizona is a leader in heat stroke deaths, ranking 47th in the nation, according to noheatstroke.org.
It's a terrible tragedy for those kids, obviously, and also for the families.
The Phoenix Fire Department demonstrated last month what happens when a child is left in a hot car. Child advocates are pushing for the Helping Overcome Trauma for Children Alone in Rear Seats Act, otherwise known as the Hot Cars Act. This act would require cars to be equipped with a system to alert the driver if a passenger is left in the rear seat of a car after the car is turned off.
Put a note on their dashboard saying, you have a kid in the back seat, don't forget them.
And one way to remind people is through a technology called Rear Seat Reminder, which is in some of GM cars. This reminder is set off anytime a rear door is opened. The reminder works in conjunction with the rear doors. Anytime the rear doors are opened, the car is alerted that someone is in the back seat. Once the car is turned off, a notification on the dashboard pops up saying, Rear Seat Reminder, look in rear seat.
And it's there just for, to maybe prevent one tragedy. And that's really the goal of the GM rear seat technology.
The rear seat reminder technology is in 17 of General Motor cars. If the Hot Cars Act passed, all cars would be required to have similar technology.
The Navajo Nation is filling the hole left when the Navajo generating station shut down with renewable energy. The 27.3 megawatt solar project near Kayenta is the first large-scale solar energy facility on the reservation. In addition to solar panels, there are 2 weather stations on site to monitor wind speed, temperature, and humidity. Staying indoors can keep us cool, but some really can't resist the great outdoors.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how an ASU climatologist mobile weather station could help researchers make the valley a bit more comfortable this time of the year.
And those triple digits making a return and the chance for monsoons not going anywhere. Your 4-7-day forecast coming up.
Heaven knows you're a dreamer. Don't hide it from anyone. Don't hide it from anyone. Hey, would you believe me if I said we are here for a reason now? This is our life.
A police helicopter rescued 26 hikers stranded by a flood yesterday. The rescue took place in Sabino Canyon, just on the outskirts of Tucson. Hikers were stranded at a flooded bridge crossing before the county helicopter ferried them out. This incident comes only a week after 17 people were rescued after flash flooding in Tonke Verde Falls.
However, we did have a steady weekend here in the valley, but will we get any storms? Our weather reporter Emily Bloom joins us with what we can expect this weekend.
We are currently sitting at 104 degrees here in the valley under partly cloudy skies, and that humidity is at 31%, making the atmosphere a little bit muggy for us. Across the valley, we've got 98 in Cave Creek, 98 in Superior, 102 down in Coolidge, and 104 in Glendale. As we head into the later hours tonight, right as that sun is setting, we'll have 90 in Cave Creek, 84 in Superior, 96 in Levine, 92 in Buckeye. Across the state at the moment, we are looking at 83 up at the Grand Canyon, 102 in Lake Havasu, 98 down in Tucson, and 68 in Show Low. Now, taking a look at our satellite and radar, you can see that we still have quite a bit of activity moving across the state. I don't think that we will get any of the effects of that here in Phoenix this afternoon, but that is okay, because taking a look at the week ahead, we have got at least a 10% chance each and every day. Once again, now the thing that's different about these next 7 days versus the past couple of weeks is that those temperatures are coming up and the humidity is not going anywhere, so it's going to be pretty muggy for us. Now, there is a researcher at ASU who's been studying climatology, and they recently built a mobile weather station, and it is measuring exactly this. It's the way our environment feels. Last week, the city of Tempe put that cart to good use. That's the sound of data being collected every 3 seconds. Ariane Middle recently developed a one-of-a-kind mobile weather cart.
I love doing research that can serve a purpose.
It measures air temperature, humidity, wind speed, and most importantly, mean radiant temperature, which is how the air feels to us.
There's only a slight difference in air temperature across the urban environment, but there's a huge difference in how you experience this temperature.
And this cart is able to break that down to numbers.
When you look at Arizona, our key threats are lack of water and heat.
Last Thursday, the city of Tempe utilized the cart to collect data for the first phase of what will be a very long research study. Right now, they have a large collection of data showing how that area feels currently. Then in October, they will be planting nearly 150 trees around the Tempe Center for the Arts. As they grow, they will continue to collect data in hopes of providing numbers showing how much more comfortable we can make our environment with these kind of urban improvements.
So the more we can do to modify this environment, the better it will be.
The city of Phoenix also utilized the cart last week, taking measurements of bus stops and the routes towards those bus stops to see how they also can make these temps just a little bit more comfortable. For Cronkite Weather, I'm Emily Bloom.
The Sun Devil basketball coach Bobby Hurley has been keeping his team focused for the past month, but not for a typical game.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how the ASU basketball team is bringing their A game overseas.
Fascinating. You know, sometimes I wish I wasn't so beloved.
Can't you see? Little girl got a hold on me like wow. Baby, I'm howling for you.
It's literally one for the history books.
Enjoy.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV played Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere. the sky. You can see it. PBS. We're with you for life.
Every 4 years, NCAA basketball teams have the ability to take a trip overseas. And sports reporter Greg McAfee caught up with the ASU men's basketball team before they took off to their trip to Barcelona and Rome.
That's right, Blakely. Before taking their talents to Europe this morning, the Sun Devils were given the opportunity to practice as a team, which not only prepared them for their trip overseas, but the upcoming season as well.
For the past week, the Arizona State men's basketball team has taken to the court as they prepare for their 9-day trip to Europe, working on plays, running through drills, and most importantly, becoming accustomed to playing with each other.
It's building that chemistry that you want to try and build with the team and implementing, integrating some of the new guys into what we do.
While new players get used to the style of play Coach Bobby Hurley is expecting, the practices leading up to their overseas trip allows the team to build chemistry. And heading into his final season, guard Cody Justice is excited to get an early start on the season.
It's going to be fun being in a different country, but this being my last year, we're trying to get everything going early because we have so many young guys and only 3 returners.
After 2 straight losing seasons, Coach Hurley believes their trip overseas, playing against professional teams and getting in extra reps, will help the team become more competitive this season.
We've had a lot more time than I've had in past summers, and having the extra practices just gives us, I think, a big advantage. And for the new guys, learning what we do and how we want to play, and with 6 new players to get everyone adjusted.
This trip isn't all business, though. The team will take in all the sights that Barcelona and Rome have to offer, but Justice is looking forward to one thing in particular:
the food.
This will be the first time the Sun Devils have traveled overseas since their trip to China in 2013. In the Broadcast Center, I'm Greg McAfee, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
Join us for a special edition of Arizona Horizon this Monday as we are joined by Arizona Senator Jeff Flake. He'll talk about his new book, Conscience of a Conservative, Arizona Horizon, this Monday at 5:30 and 10, right here on Arizona PBS.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next NewsHour, Lessons from Watergate. I talked to William Ruckelshaus, a key figure in the Saturday Night Massacre. That's Monday on the PBS NewsHour.
And that's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Hospice of the Valley, medical, social, and spiritual care for patients nearing end of life, and support for their families. A not-for-profit community hospice, HOV.org.
Chris Tarrant loves trains.
This is rather nice, isn't it?
But he isn't interested in easy trips. He likes his adventures extreme.
It's so scary.
Chris rides the rails to some of the most remote places on Earth and discovers fascinating things along the way.
I had bears get into the cabin here. These are all scratches. It's coming. Oh!
Extreme Railways.
Tonight at 9 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.